back to the On3 podcast, everyone. We have finally made it to episode number 22. Why is it special? Because this has been a number we have been targeting because, again, I don't even know if this is true.
Yeah, but somewhere
out in the ether of the internet, we saw that 90% of podcasts don't go past
episode 21.
So we're in the 90th percentile now.
Yeah.
Which, hey, proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been putting in work on those reels.
Oh, I've been doing the reels?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I've been doing the reels.
Whether they're good or bad, talk to this guy.
Yeah, and everything else, I'm going to just put that on you.
Yeah, I mean, we've put in a lot of work. It's actually crazy to think it's been 8 months since we launched On3.
8 months?
8 months.
Wow.
And it took us 8 months to get to episode 22. We are slacking, brother.
Little vacation here and there.
Yeah.
Responsibilities here and there, but we're here. So that's all that matters.
We are here. So in saying that, in commemorating our 22nd episode, I would like to ask you, how does it make you feel? What has your experience been over the past 8 months like?
Yeah.
What have you learned? I just want to talk to
you.
You
kind of putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
How do I feel? You know what? I'm so glad that we got past this little benchmark that we had put out for ourselves, right? This whole thing started and it was so just like on the spot. It was spontaneous. We're like, okay, let's do it. And guess what? There's been so many things that we've actually done that with, but this has stuck around. Though 8 months, 22 episodes, you do the math. But the fact that we got it to here, and along the way we've met some like cool people, like all the guests that
really cool people.
Yeah, like, and that's number one, meeting cool people, and then number two, the actual process of actually learning on how to do this, right? The continuous, like week to week, like, yo, let's do this, let's adjust this a little bit. I think we should do this a bit better. Like, I wasn't on social media. I got onto social media. Thank you.
I'm still trying to get you on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah. That's a tough sell, but I'll be on that sooner rather than later. But yeah, like, dude, we picked up skill. I picked up skills that I never thought I'd focus on. I never thought I'd be on a platform where, like, I'm on video and like showcasing my opinions to a certain extent.
You don't want to showcase your pretty face.
My pretty face?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what brings all our audience in, bro.
Oh, really? All 200? All 200 of them?
All 200.
No, it's not me. But yeah, I'm glad we did this. 22 episodes in, and let's see where it goes. What about you? Let me put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, just the people we've met. Like, I think I don't know about you, but one of my primary goals was to meet cool people while doing this.
Yeah.
And I think we achieved that. We've met quite a few cool people. We had people working in sports media. We had entrepreneurs on. We had real estate investors. We have so many other future guests who are going to be really cool.
Yeah.
That are going to be coming on. And I even reconnected with old friends. Remember when we had Mohammed on?
Exactly.
Just through this podcast. And yeah, like, you could just like hit people up and be like, hey, let's hang out.
Yeah.
But I feel like podcasts also, when you're just sitting down for a podcast, just as pure conversation.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like you go into topics and details about someone that you wouldn't get into in like a regular day-to-day conversation.
Exactly.
And you just get to know so much more, get to learn so much more about people. And even just beyond like just meeting people, as you said, us learning social media, us learning how to build a brand. And we're still learning. I mean, hopefully we are much better at doing this by the time episode 100 rolls around than we are right now. But the constant learning process and us learning to be active on social media, learning how to use all these tools, and having something to get our voice out there.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's talking about Drake versus Kendrick or talking about more serious issues. Like we have done talked about a few serious issues on our podcast too.
Yeah.
And I think even if it's one person or 100 people, or hopefully in the future 100,000 people listening to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. At the very least, we got our voice out there.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that next step now is the On3 brand. Let's see where this thing goes, right? It's out there. We keep refining at it, and then make something out of it.
Yeah, and I would love to put it kind of out into the world, in I guess the Toronto world. If there are people who want to collaborate with us, other podcasters, other people want to come on our podcast, whatever it is, feel free to holler at us. You have if you're listening to this, you have our platforms. And if you're not listening to this, why aren't you?
There you go. Yeah, good sales pitch, eh?
Yeah. We've I look at our old videos.
Oh, definite improvement. Definite improvement.
Bro, you have improved so much.
Oh, thank you.
The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress.
Huh? You loving me or hating me? That's what best friends do, right?
Bro, we gotta stop referring to the beef every single episode.
I know,
at some point.
Yeah, but it's like you can't get away from it either. We're not gonna talk about it, but we can't get away from it.
Yeah,
it's just everywhere. But
you have improved so much in just the way you talk,
the way I walk. I appreciate it. Just the subtle appreciation notes. But yeah, you too.
Has the podcast like appeared anywhere else in your life? Like, has it?
Yeah, I know people. Yeah. Well, it's not like people on the streets. Hey, man, like you're not from the On3. It hasn't got to that. No, but like people at work or like people that are in my circle or even acquaintances. They're just like, damn, you're doing a podcast. Okay, what you doing? What do you got coming up? Like, even if it's just transactional talk, at least the it's there, right? Mm-hmm. They acknowledge that it's there. There's a bit of interest in it, and you know what? That wouldn't have been there. If this wasn't here. So people are interested. They want to know what's going on. That's what I kind of take out of it.
Yeah, I believe it or not. I don't know if I told you this. Because of this podcast, I would say primarily. Yeah, I saw a speech therapist.
Really?
Yeah. So that I can improve.
We've been hiding the secret the whole time.
I just wanted to come here one day and just hear you be like, wow, he sounds so nice.
It all makes sense now. Fuck, I'm good. Go ahead.
No, I did only one session so far, but
yeah.
But it also made me realize that, like, improving your speech, I went into it thinking, okay, for the podcast, I want to sound better. I want to talk better. I want to communicate better.
Yeah.
But by doing that, that also affects other parts of my life because communication is key. Right?
Yes.
Whether you're doing it for a podcast, whether you're doing it for a presentation, whether you're doing it just like talking in a meeting, the way you talk says a lot about you. And I feel like I didn't think about it that way before until I started doing the podcast. And also because I had more opportunity to listen to myself.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, okay, I can improve this. I can maybe, improve the way I talk, improve my tone. I wouldn't have realized that if it wasn't for a podcast. And yeah, like there are so many things that I feel like you realize about yourself by just putting yourself out there.
Exactly. And look, everybody knows this. There's minimal barriers to entry when it comes to making a podcast. You can just pick up a mic and start talking and post it online, much like anybody else has done. But the fact that if you can take it seriously, if you can take it as like serious in the sense you put effort and energy into it, you can definitely get something out of it. You just spoke to that as well. So
yeah, and it's not just like talking on a podcast. Even like, let's say when we interview people.
Yeah.
Now when I meet new people, for some reason I just go into podcast mode.
Oh.
Because I'm just asking them question after question. And yeah, sometimes I gotta learn how to do it better. Yeah. But now it's instinctual where I'm more interested in people. Exactly. I'm more curious about people. We don't even have to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to them. Maybe I met them at a networking event or a friend's party or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to talk to them just to learn more about them. And I feel like that's something I developed more over the past 8 months than any time before. And I attribute that directly to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm putting that shit on my resume too. Yeah, it's crazy. These intangible things that you didn't see right from the get-go. But I'll be the first to admit too, like it does change your perspective on your outlook of how you want to convey yourself and the way you receive communication as well from people. So
yeah, exactly. And we had turnover on this podcast as well.
Turnover after turnover after turnover. No, I'm kidding.
We're like the Golden State Warriors.
Woo! Which year? No, I'm kidding.
Anyways, in saying that, congratulations on episode 22.
Likewise.
Proud of you, my
likewise.
brother.
Let's
And
go.
we're gonna continue this until the day we die.
Wow.
Maybe not. Hopefully not. But
It's a lot of fucking episodes. No, I'm kidding.
we'll do holographic episodes at that point. VR. We'll do episodes in virtual reality.
It's not another tech episode, is it?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah. No, this episode we're not talking about tech
Yeah.
because we don't really know what to talk about. We just kind of came on here to talk about whatever comes in our mind, shoot the shit
Yeah.
on 3 style.
On 3 style. Hey, well, what's going on in the world right now?
Olympics is going on.
Yes, it is. Fucking Paris, yeah. Paris 2024.
Paris 2024.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie Under Paris?
No.
You didn't watch Under Paris?
No.
Let me just
give me
say,
a little summary.
do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yes.
Okay, I mean I brought it up on the podcast, so I kind of got to talk about it.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert, Under Paris is basically a movie, and this I think came out pretty recently, either this year or last year, where a shark enters the Seine, you know, the River Seine
Mm-hmm.
in Paris, where they're having some of the
Correct.
competitions this year.
Yeah.
And from that, it's like some type of mutated shark
Okay.
that starts reproducing in the Seine.
Mm-hmm.
That leads to hundreds of thousands of sharks
Oh, wow.
in the Seine. And you can just think about where that could go, having hundreds of thousands of sharks living inside a major city.
Sounds like the GTA.
No, I thought those were snakes. Oh, man. So now when I think about how, one of the major plot points in that movie is how the mayor of Paris, in this fictional Paris, is trying to convince everyone, hey, the Seine is completely safe to swim in, and she takes an oath that she's gonna swim in the Seine in like 2 weeks just to prove to everyone. And the mayor of Paris did exactly that in real life. So
Really?
yeah, to prove to everyone that the Seine is like
Clean?
clean and
They-
safe to swim in.
So he or she jumped in it?
She jumped. I think she jumped in it to prove a point.
Mm.
Um,
They couldn't have done this in a more efficient way.
well, I mean, because like people apparently, it's like the water. I mean, when I went to Paris, my
Yeah.
impression of the water is like it's pretty dirty.
Oh, okay.
So they went through a lot of effort to clean that up.
And what does the river have to constitute in terms of the Olympic Games, like rowing and stuff like that?
No, they're having some. I think triathlon
Oh,
and some other
gotcha.
swimming competition is gonna happen in the Seine.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's why it obviously needs to be safe to swim in.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole kind of hoopla around the River Seine.
Hmm.
You know,
Interesting. Yeah, one of many interesting things in the Olympics. I mean, number one, why the fuck was Snoop Dogg carrying the Olympic torch? Like
he
that
was.
Yeah, it was super fucking random. He's not French. No, he doesn't know French.
What do you mean, like Snoop Doggy Dog?
Yeah. Even I know that chien. But yeah, fuck. He was not. Yeah, he was carrying the Olympic torch. That was really weird. Celine Dion performed. That makes sense. And let's get to the bread and butter. Olympic basketball.
We always come back to basketball.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? International players in basketball are in the upper echelon now. You got the Jokic's. You got who else is there?
Giannis.
Giannis, exactly. You got all these guys, and I was gonna make this point. You know, everybody talks about that. Was it the '92 Dream Team, right? With Jordan, Magic, Bird, and all that stuff. They were the Dream Team, no doubt about it. But like, bro, they, I don't even know who they faced. Like, I don't know any prominent international players in '92.
Yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon maybe, because I don't think Hakeem was.
Yeah, that
American.
doesn't sound American at all.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't any.
Yeah,
But I mean, the sport is just so international now. Like, yeah, there's so many players coming from Africa, coming from Europe. Are there players coming from Asia?
No, not yet. I mean, I think there have been. I think Asian players or players from Asia, sorry, they've been more symbolic as
Yeah.
opposed to like superstardom
Superstar,
level,
yeah.
right? You got the Yao Mings, you got the Jeremy Lins, you got.
Yeah. I mean, Yao Ming could have been a superstar if he didn't get injured.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin was a superstar for like a good
For
old
like a
2
week.
weeks. Oh, one. Oh, there you go. So I'm telling you, this is my prediction for the sport of basketball. I think once a superstar of some sort, like a Jeremy Lin, taps into South Asia, I think it will expand that game like no tomorrow and dethrone soccer. Football is what they call it.
No,
Nah?
just because I think the barrier to entry for football/soccer
Mm-hmm.
is just so much lower. Because for basketball, you actually need hoops, right? How else?
That's what I thought too. South Sudan.
Oh, yeah.
Bruh, no indoor basketball court. The entire roster is full of refugees or children of refugees, and these guys are playing at a national level, and they won a game.
They built different.
Yeah, literally, like because Luol Deng funded the whole team.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like, you do need some level of infrastructure to play ball.
Compared to football,
Compared to football, yeah. Because football, you can literally have like one like slipper on one side, another slipper on the other side, and that's your goalpost right there. And all you need is a field
that is fair.
and a ball, like obviously.
Yes,
But that's the thing about football. Like the barrier to entry is just so low, anyone can play at any time.
yeah,
Basketball is obviously not as like it's a bit. The barrier to entry is higher than soccer/football.
yeah. Just need that 10-foot pole, right?
You need that 10-foot pole. You got some?
Huh? Comes up a little.
Your third leg. But yeah, obviously, like for sports such as cricket, even or hockey, the barrier to entry is much higher,
Yeah,
right? Because you actually need proper equipment for those.
exactly.
So I would say basketball has a chance, but I don't think it's gonna dethrone.
Hey,
soccer.
I don't know, man. Maybe this was a couple weeks ago. I saw that NBA deal kick in with their multi-billion-dollar deal
Uh-huh.
with their media rights. Holy shit!
Yeah.
You know,
We're gonna lose Chuck and Shaq.
Adam Silver had the right opportunity to be like, hey, this is the part where I'm going to be for the fans, and my mind just turns it down for the money. But, you know,
You know what's messed
good
up?
business choice.
You know what's messed up?
Yeah.
ESPN paid more to have less games on the network. That's the power the NBA has now.
Wow.
So I don't know the exact terms of the deal, so
Yeah.
don't quote me on this. But from what I remember, so it's split between Amazon Prime,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Who else was there?
NBC.
NBC and ESPN. Is there anyone else? No, I think that's it. And they kicked TNT out essentially. So TNT is apparently suing because the NBA is not willing to match. Because I think TNT is willing to match Amazon's offer, but the NBA is still not going with Amazon.
TNT.
Not going with TNT. They're going with Amazon. So, but yeah, so essentially ESPN, who used to have the rights to all these like playoff games and stuff, they're gonna have that cut in half or close to half.
But they still paid
But they're playing more than they did before.
leverage. Talk about leverage.
Yep, that's a part of the NBA. Because
Yeah.
that also goes to show you, like, legacy media, TV, broadcast media, it's going out of business. And their only hope to stay in business is live television.
Yeah.
And NBA is one of the top live television events there is.
Exactly. What do you think things like organizations like the NBA coming into like subscription-based models like Netflix or Amazon, what do you think it's going to do to like those platforms? Is it just going to keep jacking up those prices?
Well, thank fucking God I don't have to illegally stream, bro.
Shout out IPTV.
I already have Prime.
Oh, yeah. Holy. But,
Not that I illegally stream. Not.
yeah,
No, we're very illegal.
yeah.
Anyways.
But,
Any other Olympic events you've seen?
no, nothing crazy. It's just, it's nice to hear these stories about like, I love the underdog stories.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of anyone that has an underdog story. I will always root for them. There was this woman, I think she was like 7 months into her pregnancy. She like got up on the podium, like for, I don't even know which sport, but she got on her she won something. So that was very neat.
I love how you don't know anything. You just know this woman won something.
Yeah. She was pregnant. That was
Okay,
the outstanding
nice.
factor.
I saw there was some 12-year-old competing in the Olympics.
Hmm?
because they showed her birth year. It was 2012,
Fuck.
and she's an Olympic athlete. Take that in.
Fuck. I can't take that in. Oh, 12 years old?
Yeah. What were we in 2012? We were in grade 12.
Yes. Oh, what the heck?
Oh man.
I'd be very curious to hear what sport that is though. Like if
Yeah.
it's the shooting one, that's concerning. Like, well, why is that happening? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, but if it's like gymnastics, I get that because like you've heard the stories of like I guess the proteges in like China and Russia. They start at the age of 3, and that's why their limbs are like so flexible and shit.
Yeah. Yes. Some of those countries are crazy competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing that really intrigues me about the Olympics, twofold. Number one, gets people together, right? Nation to nation.
Yeah.
Number two, you actually start to think about like, well, at least I started to think about, it's one point in time that you're gonna essentially perform more or less, right?
Mhm.
At an individual level or even at a team level. And you are preparing for that moment for 3 to 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So that makes me reflect on the following individuals. People like Michael Phelps,
Mhm.
people like Usain Bolt,
Yeah.
people like, is it Simone Biles?
Yeah.
The gymnastics individual. It's fucking crazy. Like I
Yeah.
start to think about who is on that list of the greatest of all time athletes, both men and women in our generation.
Michael Phelps is up there.
23 medals?
He is definitely up there.
My man has
See
more.
the man's lats?
Oh my
See his
goodness.
back? Oh
Ooh.
my god.
Yeah, like no homo,
He
but
has wings.
straight up.
Fins, I guess.
Yeah. Holy. It was crazy. And it was crazy. I think we were in such a unique point in time with the Olympics. We got to see both Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt with their
Yeah.
come up and their excellence in the sport. 2008 Beijing and then the 2012 Olympics in wherever that was.
Somewhere in the world.
Yeah, it was crazy. And you start to think about like those athletes and like how they rank in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
Who's
yeah.
in your GOAT?
The greatest of all time athlete?
Yeah, generation. Give me a top 5.
I mean, isn't it going to be dependent on which sport you actually watch? Like, I'm sorry, I don't watch swimming.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just give me.
I just know Michael Phelps is very accomplished. So
Correct.
it's probably up there.
Yeah,
Again, Usain Bolt, I've only watched highlights of his race. I never
correct.
actually
Like
tuned
everybody
in.
else.
Yeah, I never tuned into his actual race. Like, it lasts like 5 seconds. What are you
Exactly.
going to watch?
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe him. He's so dominant.
Who are your top 5 greatest of all time athletes?
Like, in terms of athletes,
Correct.
LeBron is up there.
Yeah.
Does Virat Kohli count? Yeah, probably.
Last I checked, he's an athlete. You can
Yeah,
say
yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, you can debate whether cricketers are actual athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play cricket, so don't hate on me.
Uh,
No, I mean, yeah, it is.
Are you referencing the Pakistan national team?
Bro, any national team embarrassment. But no, yeah. So he's probably up like the pure domination. He's up there. Tiger Woods is up there.
Really?
Yeah, he dominated the game of golf for such a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Serena Williams in tennis.
Oof.
Roger Federer in
Yeah.
tennis. Who else are like Lewis Hamilton, right?
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton
Yeah.
and professional racing.
You know who are crazy athletes? UFC. Like UFC athletes.
Yeah, because the
They're
longevity
crazy.
or the longevity of their career is just not there. So someone to like
Khabib.
Khabib, right?
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
guy's scary.
Yeah.
If that guy came at me and I was a bear, I'd run.
Oh man. Do you think true legends know when to call it quits in sports? In their whatever sport that they're excelling in?
I mean, it really depends how much of an ego you have.
Mm.
I think, yes, to some level, if you're at that level, you need to have some level of excellence that you probably demand of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not meeting that level of excellence,
You
you
should
call it quits. That's what Kobe did.
Yeah.
I mean, if he really wanted to, he could have taken a bench role and played for maybe like 3-4 more years.
Hashtag Vince Carter.
Yeah, exactly. But Kobe was never going to do that. Like,
Exactly.
that would have just ruined what everyone saw. Or maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe it could have been like noble thing for him to do. Who knows? But I mean, anyways, he didn't really owe it to anyone to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think if you're that competitive, I'm pretty sure you know when you're not meeting your standard. So Khabib, what was it? Khabib called it quits like at pretty much the height of his career, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it leaves a different mark on your legacy when you peak at the right moment and then you kind of leave off with that legacy. I think it just speaks different to like how you are as an athlete. And that's why it's crazy with LeBron, because the trajectory just keeps maintaining or going up. It's like, fuck.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Messi or Ronaldo. How did we forget about them?
Holy shit.
Those two are the biggest athletes in the world.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe not in North America, but worldwide, 1 and 2, Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah. So when you talk about the greatest of all time in sports, let's say in a given generation, what are the things that you look at when it comes to that?
I mean, accomplishments, how much you've dominated, like how far was the gap between you and other people, longevity.
Does off-court stuff matter?
I wouldn't say it factors in that much. I think if you're looking at it as an athlete, what matters is what you do on the field or on the court.
Gotcha.
I mean, off the court stuff, like let's say if two people are neck and neck,
yeah,
then maybe you bring in off the court stuff as like a tiebreaker. But
yeah, but it's not a primary factor.
No, I wouldn't say so.
I see that. Yeah, it's just hard to dispute when someone doesn't have LeBron in the top 5.
Yeah, but again, it's got to be
like what you watch.
What do you watch? What do you tune into?
That's fair.
Like people who don't watch ball, they're not gonna have like someone in like a village in India is not gonna have LeBron as like they might have some kabaddi star, you know.
That is fair. That is fair.
Manmohan what was the guy from Dangal?
Oh my god, my man said Manmohan Singh. That's the prime minister, bro.
Politics is a sport. Who knows?
Yeah, that is fair as well. Hey, well, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? That's a heavy question, my brother.
Really? Fuck. I apologize.
No, just living life, taking it one day at a time.
So politically correct. What have you been?
It's summer in Toronto.
Bro, you took a speech therapist without telling me. That's crucial information for a podcast. I could have used a speech therapist too.
Yeah, I'll link you.
Huh? Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Did we think I would take an improv classes?
Huh? Oh, 100%. I'm terrible with improv. Like, it's just...
That's all the more reason we should take it.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, I watched Michael Scott in The Office take improv, and I'm just like, what do I do?
Parkour.
Yeah, so I kind of left a weird taste in my mouth, but I'd entertain it.
Yeah. I would love to see you in improv.
Yeah, I know. Like, seriously.
That would be funny.
Huh? Really?
Because you got like that straight-faced dry humor.
Oh, dry humor?
I don't know if it always comes across in the podcast, but
yeah,
for people who are tuning in, this motherfucker's funny.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, you know what's the funniest part? Actually, I don't know if this is funny, but some of our guests, they're just so knowledgeable, and they provide us with like such neat insights sometimes.
Yeah.
That you and I have both experienced this. We're sitting right beside each other, and they say like just the most eye-popping thing to us, like that just captures our attention, and we're just so lost in their words, and they end their opinion in that time and moment, and we're just there with like our mouths open. We're like, shit. And in those moments, I wish I knew improv, because I'm like, I'm speechless.
Yeah. No, that's you know what I've had sometimes kind of difficulty with is like when a guest is talking and they make their point, and then you expect them to say something else, but then they just stop.
Yeah.
And you're just like waiting, like, and I'm looking at you like, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, yeah. Those pauses, they throw you off. But yeah, no, we've had good guests. But yeah, I definitely could use improv in some of those moments.
Yeah, it would be a fun thing to do. It would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe you could be the next Shah Rukh Khan. You've always dreamed of it, right?
Oh, we're putting that on live, right? Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Next SRK.
Huh?
King Azam.
Oh God.
Not King James, not King Khan. King Azam.
Yeah, I don't know how people feel about
Sarkar.
that. Oh,
Janab.
Dude, this is the weirdest thing. I don't know if you know, but you know you might actually be very inclined to hear this, but you know who's coming through to Toronto this weekend?
Who?
Taste of India? I mean, you're going to say no by default just because I know your take on that shit, but fuck you. Guess who's coming? Bro, Preeti Zinta.
Damn. Childhood crush.
Yeah, look at that. I just saw a reel of her. She's like, hey, Toronto, come into Taste of India. Meet me there. I'm like, yeah, with all the fucking 2 other million people that are trying to see you?
Are you going to go?
No! No. Okay, look, let's put it out there. I had a problem with networking in uni.
How come?
Dude, it's just... How do I say it in a civil manner? Dude, there's just too much dick sucking, and I'm not used to that shit.
You're not used to dick sucking?
No, like, sucking up to people.
Oh, you just got me excited for a bit. Anyway.
Woo! No, okay. People sucking up, like, teach their own. Like, because guess what? At the end of the day, if they're ahead of me in life, like, dude, if I knew, I would have done it too. But in that moment in time, it just felt so weird. And we had this conversation, the concept of networking and how it's evolved throughout the course of time, from our early 20s into our late 20s. And yeah, it's just a different perspective. And it's kind of led into like this phase of my life that I'm in right now. So in uni time, long story short, like networking sessions and all this stuff, it was very transactional, like there'd be one recruiter or one guy coming and there'd be like 50 people around him, right?
Yep.
And it's not just the fact there's 50 people around him, like not to be sexist, but like there's like 26 women, and like 24 men. So naturally, if there's a male recruiter, he's yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying, and I don't gotta connect the dots there. But there was that hurdle, and then when when you're not genuinely passionate about something, it's so hard to come across as authentic.
Yeah,
I could hear myself, and this guy would just be like, "Yeah, he's just trying to like forward me his resume," and I'd be like, "Bro, but like, how else can I be different? Because like, I don't know if I could take you out to drinks. I don't know. I don't know how else this can go, like outside of this little circle that we have with 50 other people that will probably say the exact same thing as me, if not something completely different."
Yeah, I think networking is it's tough, especially I think as a student. Like if you're like a university student or a high school student, or maybe you're just someone who's looking for a job. It is tough because I remember even for me too, back in my undergrad days, that's one of the reasons I found networking not hard, but as you said, kind of cringe. It's like a dick sucking fest.
Yeah.
Right. Because as you said, it's going to be a bunch of recruiters, and then all the students are just trying to like suck up to the recruiter and get an internship. Right. But people still did it. Right. So it's definitely hard. But I think what I find different about networking now, as someone who's not necessarily like looking for a job or anything like that, is when I'm going to these networking events, I'm genuinely just going there to meet people, to meet interesting people, to meet cool people, to learn about people's stories, see who I vibe with. And it doesn't even have to have like any specific purpose. It's just like, I want to meet some people. And I feel like that just changes, that just completely changes your attitude towards networking, where it's not, as you said, mentioned, a dick sucking fest anymore. It's more so just say, hey, let's see who I vibe with. That's it.
Yeah. This is the first person in the world that has sold me on the concept of networking and see it the right way, which is, dude, it's not a transaction if you can just get around to the fact that like, you're conversing with people and it doesn't need to be like a give and take. You don't need to expect something in return.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And if you have that mindset, then you will like actually see the value that it holds.
In fact, I would say in most cases nowadays in networking, I go into it more with the mindset of give. What can I give? How can I bring value to this person? Or how can I make that person's day better, right? That's kind of the attitude I go into networking with. It's rarely ever to be like, what can I gain from this person?
Yeah.
obviously, at some point, you do hope like the people around you contribute to your life in some way, right? To make it better. And those are the people you want to keep around. But I'm not expecting that, at least not right off the bat. And yeah, that I feel like that just made me a more happy networker.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't even call it a networking event. It's just I go to events, I meet people. If I vibe with people, I keep in touch with them. And then, like, yeah, I feel like I've had a few friendships that have kind of blossomed over the past however many months because of that.
Let me pick your brain at this a little bit. For young aspiring professionals, what are some high level tips that you would give them in terms of networking?
See, I mean, I'm not a professional networker, but I know, like, let's say if I go to a networking event, and it's a very tough thing to balance because I understand like people who are, like, I know the job market's not the best, and I know there are a lot of people who are looking for jobs. There are a lot of students, local, international, whatever, that are looking to get into the economy, and they are desperate for a job. So it's hard to go into it with the mindset that, oh, I can't ask for a job. And I'm not even saying it's bad to ask for a job, but I think it's important to build a connection first. It's important to like see how you like fit with that person as a friend before being like asking for a job. And that's my personal philosophy. That might not even be the right philosophy. I know plenty of people who just like cold message people, be like, hey, I would love to work here. Can I go on a coffee with you? And they're super successful doing it. But for whatever reason, I just have never been comfortable doing that. But a lot of people are comfortable doing that and have done really well doing that. And I feel like a lot of people are appreciative of it when you do. But for me, I just like to more so just like reach out to people more to get to know them. And build a connection with them. And I'm only going to reach out to someone if I genuinely find them interesting.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter what job you have, what you do, what sport you play. None of that. If I find you interesting, I want to talk to you. And that's been my way of doing things. And as I mentioned, don't expect anything in return. Just think about what you can give. And I know as a student, it's very hard to do because especially when you're a student, you almost feel like you have nothing to give. But a lot of times you do have something to give, whether it's like, I don't know, just giving someone a good time or being a good person to someone or contributing in other ways. Actually, one of the best ways I find networking is connecting someone with other people. Like you meet someone and then you realize that this person could benefit from meeting this other person that you met, and then you connect the two of them. That right there, you're already bringing value. You don't necessarily even have to do anything. You're just making introductions.
Yeah.
And that already you're putting so much value into the world. And guess what? If you did a network just for the sake of knowing people, you wouldn't have that. Like, you don't even need to know someone like intimately to be able to do that. You just know someone. You know, like, okay, maybe they're doing this or they're interested in this. And you know someone else who's maybe interested in the same thing or looking for someone who does that. And you can just be like, oh, I know that person. And you just connect them. And they get to talk and hopefully good things come out of that. And you could be in the middle of that. And I find that's one of the best ways to, like, bring value to people is just making introductions, seeing if you can connect someone that you met previously or having your network with other people. And then eventually once you actually do have your own thing to give, your own value to bring, that's when you do that. But I don't think you should ever go into it thinking that you have to bring value, like, or that you have to bring monetary value or professional value in some way. Value could be given in multiple different ways.
It's crazy. In layman terms, you just said like being a plug is quite beneficial. So that's
100%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I love when people can make introductions.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah,
you know?
No, exactly. Nah, that's a good touch. Especially in positions, as you mentioned, like whether it's students or just people that feel like they don't have anything to offer, least you can do is just quote unquote be yourself and add a personal touch to it, because that in itself is, well,
Yeah, exactly.
of some value.
I recognize it is hard. Like, it's easy to say be yourself. When people used to tell me that, I'm like, what the fuck you mean? I don't even know myself. Well, what do you mean be myself?
Jeez.
What am I? What is myself?
Jeez, bars. Bars.
How do you know what yourself is, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Have you gone to any therapy for that as well, or?
I have actually.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Always keeping the secrets.
A
I'm
lot
kidding.
of
I'm kidding.
therapizing going on.
Oh, yeah? That's a word?
I just made that up, I think.
All right.
But what was I saying?
I think we're talking about keeping a personal touch, and if you have nothing to offer, that's at the something you can do at the bare minimum.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, like being yourself is hard to. It's hard to figure out what yourself is.
Yeah.
And if I'm being completely honest, I struggle with that every day. What am I? And I think obviously as you go older, you kind of have a better idea of what your values are, what you like, what you don't like, and I guess those in aggregate make you who you are. But if you haven't figured that out yet, don't worry. Just try not to be a creep. That's like such bad advice. I don't even know what I'm saying. But
my man went full philosophy there. But no, I think that the thing growing rich is growing on you. I see it personally.
Growing rich.
Think growing rich is growing on you.
Think and growing rich is growing on me.
Think growing rich is growing on you.
I haven't seen the riches yet. Have you?
That's why I said it's growing on. That's why I said it's growing on you.
Your account is growing. I don't know about mine.
What are these false assumptions you're making? Nah, I'm just trying to say.
Well, but listen. Hey, one of our friends said you could literally make a living monthly off of the amount your friends owe you. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere, but
yeah. So you could literally feed a whole family with the amount I owe you. So
I concur. Wanted to bring this up. It's news to me. Might have been around for quite some time, but hey, obviously I have a leg to like everything in the social media world. But there's a new way people are meeting each other, whether it's through a personal setting, a professional setting, whatever kind of setting it is within this little platform and framework that they've created. Motherfucking runs.
Oh, right. Running clubs.
Running clubs.
Yeah, a lot of people use it for dating apparently nowadays.
It's literally called speed dating. See,
that's crazy, bro.
What the fuck? Runs.
I mean, some people do say you're at your most attractive when you're sweaty.
Who said that?
Just saying.
Who?
Because you know when you have sex, you're sweating.
Oh,
so that reminds you of like.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You know. Yeah, we'll just go with that.
Yeah, so these runs. But yeah, people are. What's with the rise of runs? Oh, I like that. What's with the rise of runs? Yeah, with like, especially in Toronto.
I've thought about joining one too.
You have a wife?
Yeah, not for dating purposes.
Oh, okay.
Chill. I am allowed 3 apparently, but.
Oh, 3 more. Yeah.
1 is enough. Anyways, no, not for that, but because I've been trying to get into running, and my wife and I have thought about getting into a running club because honestly, my reason would be because it just motivates you to run.
Yeah.
When you see other people running.
Yeah.
Running by yourself is fucking boring. I'd rather have someone to talk to while I'm running. I'd rather have someone to like keep me going. Like when you're running by yourself, I'll like run for 5 minutes and I'll give up.
Yeah.
And then I'll start walking. But if I'm running with someone else and I see they're not stopping, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going.
Let me ask you this: you think these running clubs are a fad?
No. Fitness as a way to meet people
is gonna stick around.
Has always stuck around. It's been a thing for a long time.
Oh yeah,
it's actually one of the best ways to meet people.
Wow.
Because you're like sharing a challenge together. You're overcoming a challenge together. You know, it's different when you do that. Like, you know, some people do it as part of a team, right? A ball team. Some people do it as joining a fitness club together, right? Like those spin classes, yoga classes, whatever it is. I think fitness community as a community is one of the best ways to meet people. Wow. The thing is, at the end of the day, and even if we're going back to our talk about networking, humans are social people. social creatures.
Yeah.
We crave that bond. We crave that being a member of a community, and being a valued member of society. And that's what it, at the end of the day, comes down to. Like, you want to be around people. You want to meet people. Like, I've mentioned this. When we were in lockdown, like from 2020 to 2022 or whatever, I was losing my mind because I couldn't meet people.
Yeah.
And before that, I used to think I was an introvert. And to an extent, I still am, but
Huh?
What, being an introvert?
Yeah. Fuck.
You don't think I am?
No.
How come?
Well, you're not a social bug by any means, but like you present yourself always in a very confident manner. I associate that
No,
with
introverts can be confident.
yes,
I
they can
think
be.
no, I think it's basically like extroverts are people who get energy from being around other people, while introverts are people who get energy or who get their energy drained by being around other people.
And what about those people right in the middle, like myself?
I think they're called ambiverts.
Ambiverts, yeah.
Ambiverts. So again, everyone's like on some spectrum between an introvert and extrovert.
Yeah.
You can't really say anyone's one or the other. But I used to, before I used to think I'm more on the introvert side of things than an extrovert. But I think COVID made me realize I might be more on the extrovert side because I do feel like I enjoy being around people. I do feel like I gain energy by being around people, meeting people, talking to people. That's the whole fucking reason we started a podcast.
Yeah.
At least my reason.
Hey, tell me this. You're in the tech industry, right? You don't even need to answer that. You're in the tech industry. What do you see more extroverts or introverts?
In tech?
Yeah.
I mean, people who are on the actual tech side, like software developers, software engineers, or who are working with computers most of the time, I would say mostly introverts.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, because, I mean, you don't want to generalize, but
Yeah.
I guess like if you were to kind of put a overall bracket, I would say people on the tech side are more on the introvert side, while people, let's say, who are on the business side or sales side, a bit more on the extrovert side of things. It makes sense because on the business side of things, you got to work with people more.
Correct. And they're on the back end.
Or, on the tech side of things, you're working with computers more. I mean, you're still working with your team and like on building the product or whatever.
Yeah.
But most of your interaction happens with technology.
Yeah, no, just ask that out of curiosity because it's not a secret. The tech space is just so large right now, so much attention to it, and you hear this, you hear the phrases software developer, software engineers being thrown around. So just want to see where this fit on that spectrum, right?
I mean, people can be again. It's not. I don't think that it's like one or the other. You can be both.
Yeah.
But people who are, let's say, software engineers but are founders and want to found their own company, you need to have people skills to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to found your own company, market it, go to investors and stuff like that without having people skills.
That is very true.
And again, you can also be an introvert and also have people skills. They're not mutually exclusive.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who are my favorite kind of people?
Who?
Extroverted accountants.
Extroverted accountants.
We the fucking 1%.
That's how we're going to make the transition. Are you an extroverted accountant?
No.
Do you need extroversion? I don't even know if that's a word.
Extroversion?
I don't even know if that's a word to be a successful accountant.
In today's day and age, yes.
How come?
Because I think the role of an accountant is evolving. It has been evolving for quite some time, but especially with artificial intelligence and other aspects of technology kicking in, I think the role of an accountant is changing. It is changing from what we can do with numbers to what those numbers mean and how we can speak to them, right? Using our judgment and decision making to tell a story as opposed to, just reporting on something, which
Wasn't that always the case?
Yeah, but I think even more so now. Like, I think accountants are going to be in more of a consulting role. I don't know how that will look for actual consultants. Maybe they might take over our jobs or whatnot. But I think it's going to evolve from sort of the numerical and financial reporting processes into this new segue of just decision making.
Makes sense. to give people why we're going into the topic of accounting. So we looked up
Like they needed a
trending
reason.
topics. Apparently, people love their accounting.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
It's one of the most searched things on TikTok.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
And I don't know if this is still applicable, but I'm going to speak to a story about 10 years ago when we were in high school. I kid you not. Class of 2013, us. Tell me the percentage of people in our graduating class that wanted to be CPAs. And if you're not at the same percentage, we have a problem.
Like what, 80%?
Exactly. What the fuck?
CA ruled the world.
Yes, it did. Holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was the saying. We talked about that, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's just such a, I don't know. I don't know why it's such an in-demand thing. I don't know why it's also the first thing people think about. Like, usually there's a lawyer, doctor, engineer. But like, dude,
I'll tell you why I thought about it.
Yeah,
And this is not shitting on accountants. I'm not.
of course not.
But it was because I didn't want to go into sciences. That's a whole other story of why I didn't.
Yeah.
And so I chose to go into business. And going into business, you're like, okay, what the fuck do I do? And your dad's like, okay, accounting seems like a safe option. I'm like, you're right. And then people come and be like, accounting rule or CA rule the world. I'm like, makes perfect sense. That's why I chose accounting. Literally,
You make
no
me
other
feel.
reason.
You make me feel so much better about my aspirations. Where this guy, he's like, okay, well, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Oh, CA rule the world. Why not? Me, CA rule the world. Light comes on. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, that also happened.
Yeah.
But that's why I chose accounting without actually really understanding what it means,
Yeah.
what it does, what the implications are of like what you can do with it.
You're so right though. When people are like, oh, I want to go into business, it's like I think it's one of the more undefined fields because there's only so many defined things within business when you actually think about it. Like in terms of an actual structure, accounting's one of them, and then maybe probably HR.
Yeah, finance.
I put accounting and finance more or less the same thing. Like within the same field.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many people. Oh, I want to get into business. I'm like, okay, but like what, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To date, I haven't figured out what the fuck it means to like. I still don't know how you get into marketing.
You just get into marketing.
Like what? For anyone that wants to like enlighten me, please do, because I still don't know.
The thing is, like, I feel like most careers, other than the super defined ones, like let's say
Engineer,
if you're
doctor, lawyer.
engineer, doctor, lawyer, accountant.
Thank you.
Other than those, and I'm pretty sure there are other ones, most people don't have a linear career. Even people who are doctors, for example, sometimes don't have linear careers. You start off as a doctor, you want to go into consulting, health consulting after, you go into hospital administration, whatever. Depends on what you want to do. There's no way you can tell me 18-year-olds know what they want to do with the rest of their life. And there's no way you can tell me 29-year-olds know what they want to do with the rest of their life, aka me and you. You're 28 still. So yeah, I'm doing one thing right now that is very different than what I thought I would be doing when I was 18.
Yeah.
When I was 18 and you told me 11 years later, I'm going to be in tech, in a technical field, doing a technical role, that I would have been like, how? In what way, shape, or form?
You and me both.
Like,
would have asked that question.
Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. And I might be a bit of an extreme example because I kind of switched fields on the fly. But I find even for most people, they start their career off in one place, then they pivot to something else, then they take on another role that's like maybe gives them an opportunity to learn something else. And you kind of move around, and by the end of it, you end up somewhere that's very different from where you started. And I feel like most careers, for most people, kind of go that way.
You think today's day and age kind of propels that even further?
Probably, because there's so much like access to information,
right?
There's so much people just I feel like are able to learn more.
I think we're in a much more skill-based demand world than the prototypical your education, your GPA, and all this stuff. That's what I feel like from like an employer standpoint, or like just someone seeking a job. Like if you have the necessary skills and you can perform and you can execute, I think that matters much more than
Your
your
GPA, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, your skills a lot of times are correlated with your how well you did in school.
Correct. And yeah, work ethic.
I think, and work ethic, and I mean, you gotta have. If you have good work ethic, chances are you did well in school,
Correct.
right? But again, it's not for everyone. I'm just saying, generally, that's what that means. Obviously, there are exceptions, but it's not the rule. The rule is generally, you do well in your education, you're gonna have developed good skills, and you can use those skills to apply it to your career and do well in that career, right? But yeah, it is a skill based. That's what matters. But generally, do well in school. Don't leave school.
Mr. Philosopher back at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't leave school.
Yeah. But and obviously, like it's different than in our parents' generation where people just wanted one career and to develop in their career, stay with the same company for 30 years. It blows my mind that people did that. Stay with the same company for 30 years.
Yeah.
I haven't even hit 3 years with the company yet.
Red flag. No, I'm kidding. That's a green flag in these days. You know what's crazy? You know, obviously I'm in the public sector, so I see retirement parties and fuck, they scare the shit out of me. You know why?
Why?
Man's be celebrating the 35th, 40th, 45th, 50th, 55th anniversary.
That is crazy.
And they're out. And I'm like, yo, I told a couple of my coworkers this. I'm like, hey, if you ever have a retirement party for me and they put like some outstanding number for it, just shoot me right there, right then and there. Pop me out.
Why is that wrong though?
Huh?
Wait, why is that wrong?
It's not wrong by no means. I'm not. If anything, I'm saying shoot me for twofold reason. One, I don't want to do that. Two, I can't do that. What I mean by two, I can't do that. I have a astound amount of respect for people that can do that, just not me, right?
Yeah.
Number two, yeah, you know, I personally speaking, I'm 7 years deep into the organization that I'm in, but I obviously do think about ways that I can transition somewhere else because just, you know, like life is...
You want your manager hearing this? Do they follow the pod?
Oh, yeah. He's also endeavoring in other ventures. But no, I think, you know, when you think about it at a very high level in terms of life, it just comes down to a collection of experience and memories, right? So no different in my professional setting. If I can see growth can be anywhere. So 7 years deep into an organization, but like I'm not trying to hit that 15, 20, 20, 50 year mark.
Yeah. The thing is, I think, again, there's nothing wrong.
100% not.
There's nothing wrong with it. If people want to do that, do it. I think for me, and you know this, I get bored very easily.
Oh,
I get, it's a problem.
it is.
And that's why I feel like I always need to switch around. And it doesn't even have to be different companies. Maybe it could be like a different role in the same company, or something else entirely. Right, pick up a new hobby or something. I even get bored of my hobbies.
Damn. Long story short, he just likes to be challenged.
Yeah, I do. I do like being challenged, but that comes at the cost of not mastering anything. And in order to get a level of mastery, you do need to like grind something out for years and years and years and years.
Correct.
Right. I think people who are able to do that reach that master level, and there's so much value in that.
Correct.
Because a master at something is such a 100x multiplier on something.
Yeah.
Like you can't. It would take you, as I said, 100 people to replace that one person who's a master at something, right?
Correct.
And that takes so much time and dedication, and that's why I say it's a problem that I get bored.
Twofold for that, time and dedication, and I think it has to involve passion of some sort.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be the exact field, but it has to be a passion of some sort of element.
Yeah.
So I think you've yet to find your passion, maybe.
You know, but I have heard things in the contrary, that the moment your passion becomes your work, it doesn't stay your passion anymore.
What does it turn?
Because then it becomes work. Like, think about this. Like, if you enjoy watching basketball.
Yes.
But let's say you had to do it as a job, that you had to analyze every single game. You might enjoy it for a bit,
Yeah.
maybe like a year or two.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's going to get tedious at some point?
You're asking the wrong person, but I see where you're going. Continue.
Maybe it won't for you.
Yeah.
That's your true calling, my brother.
Yes, fuck. Holy shit.
But I can see. I think this is not me talking. I'm pretty sure I heard this in a podcast or read it in a book somewhere. Please don't tease me on it. Like, just let me be.
Just say it.
I don't listen to too many podcasts. Actually, I do. No, but they were talking about like you have to find ways to make your job enjoyable. Don't keep running after your passion because a lot of people, if you're lucky enough to find it, that's one thing, and you're lucky enough to make money out of it. That's great. But if you're not, you do need to find a way to enjoy what you do. Find the little things that make you enjoy what you do. I have not been able to do so. Still trying to find that.
That's totally fine.
Wow, we actually kept going for an hour, over an hour on this.
Fuck.
I
Bringing in
know.
episode 22 with
22.
a bang.
I didn't even know we were going to pass 20 minutes because I was like, we have nothing to talk about. But these actually always turn out to be our best episode.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got things planned for the month of August, September, and this year. You know, we got people in the pipeline. We got things in the pipeline. So looking forward to that.
I'll give a little teaser. On 3 shootout. Coming. Join the wait list. All right. With that, episode 22, my brother, let's keep going until 220, and then we'll reassess.
All right.
On 3, we out.